Imagine being able to run Claude Code for completely free. No subscriptions, no tokens, no running out of your credits right when you're in the middle of building something. Sounds good, right? Well, you can stop imagining because in this video, I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to run Claude Code for completely free. So you can build without limits and without needing to have a ton of RAM or storage on your device just to make it work. So if you're ready, let's dive in. So what are we actually doing here when we want to get Claude Code for free? What we're doing is that we're essentially changing the model that is being run inside of Claude Code. So you can think of Claude Code like a smartphone, and you can think of changing models like connecting to different Wi-Fi networks. So with the phone, you still have the same capabilities, the same camera, all the cool features that come with the phone, but by changing the Wi-Fi network, you could slightly change how it performs. For example, connecting to super fast Wi-Fi versus slow Wi-Fi. And the cool thing here is that we get it for free, but we also get access to all the agentic features that we have. For example, Claude Skills, agentic loop, all the good stuff for completely free. So instead of running one of the paid models like Sonnet 4.6 or Opus 4.7, you could actually plug in free cloud models into Claude. For example, you could get a GPT, Gemini, DeepSeek, Qwen, all completely for free, and you don't need to actually install any of these LLMs or models into your local computer. So if you don't have enough storage space to download them, or you don't have enough RAM to actually run them consistently, this solves all of that. Now, if you're looking for something that's free, but 100% private and 100% local, meaning that you run everything within your local machine, and maybe you have a device that has a lot of RAM on it, then you can take a look at some of these locally hosted free versions using Ollama and self-hosted LLMs. And I'm probably going to make a video about that in the future, so keep an eye out for it. But bear in mind that this does use up a lot of RAM. For example, for a really popular AI model for coding, we can see that even its smallest version needs you to have 14 gigabytes of RAM to actually run it. And your computer still needs RAM to do its daily operations. Awesome. So now let's dive into the step by step. So over here, we're at OpenRouter, and this is basically a platform where you're able to get access to multiple free and paid models using only one API key. So this is what we're going to be using to get our free cloud models. So coming over here to this models tab here, we're able to see that they have so many models. They have DeepSeek, Google, even some that we even haven't heard of before. We have the OpenAI GPT. So you can get access to a lot of models here. But what we were looking for here is that we're looking for the free models. So we're just going to come over here to search models, and we're just going to search free. And now it's giving us all the free models that we can use inside our Claude Code. And you could also use a paid model as well, but it just depends on you. But for today, we're going to be using the free models. So first step you have to do, if you don't have Claude Code installed already, you just have to go ahead and do that. But I'm just going to assume that everyone is actually connected to Claude Code. Next, we have to get an API key. So we're just going to come over here to this little icon here, and we're just going to go to preferences for now. So over here, we just want to go to API keys. And here we have to create an API key. We're using API keys just to authenticate the calls that we're going to make to the API, but we're not actually going to spend any credits at all. So you don't have to worry about that. So coming over here, we want to click on create, and we just want to give a name to our API key. And then if you want, you can set a credit limit and put an expiration as well, but it's always best to put this as no expiration. And then you want to click create. Awesome. So here we have our API key, and you just want to copy this and keep it somewhere safe. And as always, make sure you don't share your API key with anyone. Also, I read somewhere that you might have to have $10 of credit loaded up if you do want to use this free method. So for me personally, it works when I don't have $10 of credit loaded up. But if you are running into some issues, you might want to look into that as a troubleshooting step, because I've been using OpenRouter for a very long time and I've loaded hundreds of credits into here. So that might be why. But if it's your first time using OpenRouter and you're entering any roadblocks, just loading $10 of credit is not going to use the credits, but at least it gives you access without any issues. Now, there are two ways to use OpenRouter with Claude Code. The first way is scoping it to your local permission, which means only applying it to one single project. And then we have the second, which is applying it and scoping it to your global permissions. And with that basically means that with every single project that you ever create with Claude Code, it would then use the free model with OpenRouter. So first, let's dive into how to scope it locally for a project. Awesome. So first thing we have to do is we have to jump into our IDE. Today I'm using Visual Studio Code, but you can use Cursor or Anti-Gravity, whichever you have access to right now. And what you want to do is you want to create a new folder. So I've already gone ahead to do that. So I'm just going to open that new folder that I created. Awesome. So what we want to do now is we want to create a .claude folder. So coming over here, I'm going to click on the folder icon and I'm going to type on .claude, just like this. And inside this folder, we want to create a settings.json file. I'm just going to come in here. Going to create a new file. We're going to name it settings.json. And you want all these to be in little letters. Now coming over here, we have the documentation of how you can actually do this. So you just want to scroll all the way down to this area where you see step 2, connect Claude to OpenRouter. And over here in the shell profile, you want to switch that to project settings like this. And you just want to copy the code over here. So I'm going to copy that. And coming back here to my Visual Studio Code, I'm just going to paste this into the settings.json file like so. Awesome. So one more thing that we need is that we need to add the entropic model. So we're just going to put a comma over here. And over here, we're just going to paste this in. I'm just going to fix the quotes here, make sure everything is good to go. Awesome. So this is what we need right now. And let me just break down exactly what we're seeing here. So here we have 4 important variables that we need to actually connect this. We have the entropic base URL, which we want to point towards OpenRouter. And then we have the entropic auth token, and this is basically going to be our API key. So the API key that we got and saved from OpenRouter earlier. For our entropic API key, we want to leave this as blank. And for our entropic model, that's the model that we actually want to select, one of our free cloud models from OpenRouter. So let's fill this all up. So first of all, you just want to paste your API key over here. Awesome. Make sure you leave this blank. And then next, we want to actually go and select the model that we want to use today from OpenRouter. So if we come back to OpenRouter, we can see all these free models that we have access to. So I'm just going to use this OpenAI GPT OSS-120B free, because as I told you before, this is a very popular model for AI coding. So I can click inside here. And actually, you can see that for everything that we're going to get access to here, we have $0 per input tokens and $0 per output token. So it is completely free. Just to click into that. So here, what you want to do, you want to copy the model name, and it's just this over here. So you just click on copy, and coming back here, we just want to paste this over here where it says OpenRouter model. And no worries, I'm going to leave in the resources so you can actually get access to this code as well. So everything is good to go. And what you want to do is you want to save this. And what we're going to do next is we're going to run this just to make sure that everything is good to go with our new free model. Awesome. So I have my terminal opened up over here, and I'm just going to type in Claude to actually run this. And as you can see, we actually have our model set up to OpenAI GPT-OSS-120B free, which is the model that we actually got from OpenRouter over here. Now let's just test it to make sure everything works as it should. We can see it's running, it's going through some attempts. Now, so far, this has been taking a very long time to run, and I wanted to give a disclaimer about some free models. Now, for some specific free models, depending on how people are using them, you could get rate limited. And that's what typically happens with some of these free models because there are just a lot of people, they're trying to access it at the same time. So you might have to wait a really long time to get access, or it might just block you out entirely. So a solution to this, coming over to OpenRouter, coming back to the free models, you want to scroll all the way down until we get to this free models router. And this is honestly the best way to use free models here in OpenRouter. Because let's say, for example, there's a specific free model and a lot of people are using it and it's blocked and it's getting rate limited. It would then automatically redirect you to another model to use instead. So you never have to wait, you never have any issues when it comes to actually using it. So I'm just going to click on that. So in this free models router, over here, we can see the activity and we can see that if we go to the overview, we can actually see that here we have two models that are from NVIDIA. And this is always changing from time to time. Now to get access to this, we want to copy the model name like before. So we come over here and we just click on copy. And coming over here, we've seen that I've already been rate limited because as I said before, yeah, that's what happens sometimes, unfortunately, with some of these free models. But if it was a paid model, then you would have like a lot of priority. And then coming over here, I'm just going to close this terminal and I'm going to paste our new model in here. And I'm just going to save that. Make sure anytime you change the model, you close the terminal, you save it, and then you run a new terminal. So I'm just going to run Claude again. Sweet. So now we can see that we're now using OpenRouter free model. So I'm just going to type in here, hi. We can see that it's Clauding and we can get our response over here. So this is the safest method you can use. So even if the current model you're using right now has a lot of people using it at the moment, it could always switch you to another one. So you're never stuck in doing anything when working with your free models. Now let's actually talk about how you can apply this to every single Claude project that you're going to do in the future, which is basically how to scope this globally. So coming over here, I'm in my terminal and you want to open your global Claude folder. Now, if you're using a Mac, you can use this command. So in here, I'm in my global Claude folder. And what we want to do is we want to open the settings.json that exists here already. So I'm just going to open this in VS Code. So here I've opened my settings.json file. Now, if you haven't done much configuration or customization to your Claude code, it should be empty just like this. And what you want to do the exact thing as last time. But first, let me actually show you that we're still running on the old Claude and that it only applied in the previous case to just that specific folder. So if we come over here and we run Claude, we can see that we're still running on the Sonnet 4.6 version. So what you want to do here, you want to do like last time, and you want to paste exactly what we had in the previous one. You just paste it in here and you want to save it as well. So once you do that, you come over here, you're just going to exit, then we're going to run Claude again. And we can see that now we're actually running on OpenRouter free on our global device. So if we're to create any single Claude projects, it's always going to use the OpenRouter free. And if we type hi, we can see that it works as well. Now, another thing is if you have done some configuration, then maybe your settings.json file might look something like this. So what you want to do, you want to come to this env. So these are the environment variables. And if you have a variable already there, you want to put a comma, and then right below it, you want to paste in all those variables that we had before. So you just want to copy them individually like this and paste it right under, and you want to save it. So let's just test if this one works as well. So if we come here and we actually run Claude, we can see that we're also on the OpenRouter free. Now, what do you do if you actually wanted to revert back to the original Sonnet 4.6 or Opus 4.7, for example? All you have to do, if in the previous case your code looked like this, you just have to take away this environment variables, take away that comma, and just save it again. And when you run it, just like this, you will see that it actually reverts back to the Sonnet 4.6. Or if you had the case as before, you can just take out everything and leave your settings.json as an empty string again. You can save it, and we're just going to run another terminal. So I'm just going to exit this one, and we're just going to run that again. And we can see that it reverts back as well. Awesome. So now let's talk about trade-offs. So as we see in the pros, you get $0 for a free model, which could essentially help you if you're learning how to use Claude Code, or you're just working on some personal projects. Or you could also get a cheaper rate for a paid model that might have better performance than the free models. And then we have the cons. So as we know, free is amazing, but you could also get rate limited if you're not using that free router that we spoke about. And a lot of people are using that specific model that you're looking at using right now. And we also have reduced performance because those free models might not perform as well as Sonnet or Opus might actually perform. Also, if you ever found a model that you felt like might be better, or you just feel like, okay, this model is cheaper for me and I still get a good amount of performance, it's just the exact same thing. Like for example, you can get OpenAI GPT 4.4, you can get any of these models, you can get any of the DeepSeek models, any of the Gemini models, and all you have to do, just like last time, you just click into the model and you just copy this over here. And all you have to do is keep changing that parameter that actually selects which model you want to use. But I do recommend, if you are working on a client project, that maybe use the Sonnet or the Opus, unless you can find a paid, alternative that also gives the same amount of performance. And that is it, how to get Claude Code for completely free. Now, if you're looking for access to the resources that I shared here today, as well as other resources to help you out throughout your AI journey, feel free to check out my free school community. In there, you get access to multiple resources, and you can also get access to live feedback as you build your AI agencies and ask questions whenever you get stuck. I hope you've enjoyed this video. So next thing will be to learn how to actually make your AI builds 10 times more powerful using Claude skills. So feel free to check out this video over here that goes in depth on that. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.